using it this way, but you had to project he would have had a few title reigns in his, if we didn't lose him so early. So I do think projecting it out. I hate using the word projecting it out, but I believe he would have won a few more titles, if things didn't turn out, tragically like they did.
All right, let's move on to question number 2. Now, upcoming, we heard originally, or today, that Ric Flair's 30 for 30 documentary on ESPN was going to debut on September the 8th. ESPN came back and said that there is no official debut day, but it will be sometime in this fall. So we know that there's going to be a Ric Flair 30 for 30 coming up, and we know that there's going to be a movie based on the times and life of Andre the Giant produced by HBO. So my question is, which one are you more excited about? I'm going to start off, and I'll say I'm probably more excited about Andre the Giant's movie than I am Ric Flair's movie because of the fact that Ric Flair's still around, and he's a legend, but he's not really like a tall tale. And there's so much we know about Ric Flair, and there's so much in this 30 for 30 because it's not put on by HBO, but it's put on by ESPN, so it's kind of tame. There's so much we're going to have seen before. We're going to kind of, as wrestling fans, know. But I feel Andre the Giant, there's got to be so many stories out there of people I've never heard of. I've seen his A&E documentary one time, and it was like, even if I didn't like wrestling, it was kind of like watching something on Abraham Lincoln or watching something, on Paul Bunyan more than just watching something on a traditional wrestler. I mean, John Cena's done a lot, Hulk Hogan's done a lot, but Andre the Giant seems, like I said, it seems to have this tall tale aspect to him.
I mean, here's my thing. The tip of this would be a bad way to go about it. I want to see both. I mean, I can't really choose. I mean, if you're making me choose, oh, that's a tough one, man. I was thinking about this earlier. I mean, we, our pre-production meeting. I want to see both. I think they're both going to be terrific. I mean, if you're making me choose here, just on the fact that HBO is more, you can do a little more free reign, so to speak. I gotta go with the Andre Giant. I think it's like watching. I mean, I watch the Game of Thrones, different shows on there. It's less tamed on ESPN, so you're gonna see stuff that you would normally not see on regular television. So, and there's a lot more to Andre Giant that a lot of folks. I mean, I was very young, when Andre Giant, was still around and all that, but I didn't really get to know Andre Giant. I mean, I know he's a legend. I know he did a lot of great things in the business, but I think, like you said, 30 for 30 Ric Flair. I do see you're going to see a lot of the similar stuff that we've already seen as wrestling fans. So, to see some new stuff from Andre the Giant, to see how he was as a human being, I think outside of the ring, I think that's going to be very interesting. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out.
I'm the same way. That's what I feel with Andre the Giant. It's especially too, I feel these 30 for 30s, we've seen a lot of these 30 for 30s. So I don't want to say that they're losing their luster, but in a way, they are kind of losing their luster. And I just feel like they're starting to spread the topics thin. I'm really excited. This is kind of like the first wrestling-related one. We haven't seen a ton from, other wrestlers. We haven't seen, I feel like there could be like a good Hulk Hogan one. There could be, a bunch, early maybe Vince McMahon one. I think Vince McMahon would be a great one. The XFL was kind of wrestling-related, but I feel like the Andre the Giant thing seems more like it's going to be unique and something like we haven't really seen before. So I'm pretty excited to see that one.
They're both going to be good regardless. I mean, they're both icons in the wrestling world. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they both turn out. But it's going to be interesting. I really think. Ric Flair. What all the road stories. I mean, that is gold right there. Ric Flair is I just think he's super talented. I mean, the road stories where he literally, he's done the crazy things he's done. I mean, even the recent incident where he called the bartender a certain name and all that. So, I mean, I think that's going to be fantastic. I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, what are you looking forward most to, either way, Ric Flair or Andre the Giant? What do you think, Jared?
Like I said, I'm looking forward to the Andre the Giant HBO special. That seems to be like the number one for me. And let's move on to our third question. So Mojo Rawley is now in a music video with Gronk. He's in a music video for the band 3LAU. I've never really heard of them before. I don't even know if that's exactly how you pronounce it. It's kind of like a rap video, but, my question is, Gronk and Mojo Rawley have been doing so much lately. Their relationship is just going crazy, not just in WWE, but now it's outside of WWE. So if you were like Vince McMahon or you were in the WWE, what would you try to do with this relationship? What would you try to blossom? Would you try to get Gronkowski? I mean, he was in the ring for a second at WrestleMania, but would you try to do more with that?
It's hard because Gronk is still in the NFL, and I mean that's his number one passion. I do see Gronk in the WWE. It's at some point post NFL career, but I think he's just signing a new contract or a contract extension, so I do not see him in the WWE for a while. It's really odd. I mean, look at a lot of the other talents out there. I mean, you've seen Edge do television shows. I mean, you see him, so you've seen a lot of guys do stuff outside of the business. So I mean, if Vince can get creative, I mean, if WWE can, as a whole, get creative with the whole situation, maybe they can make some money off of this with Gronk. Maybe get him to I'm not trying to say he's a legend, but maybe a Legends contract, so he comes in on special appearances and just makes he represents not only obviously the NFL and the New England Patriots, but maybe they sign him to a contract where he represents WWE in some way, shape, or form. Him and Mojo Rawley do some cool things with the community or something. I mean, from a wrestling, sports entertainment aspect, I don't think there's much you can do right now because Gronk's not he's an entertainer, definitely. I mean,
he would have to stay out of the NFL season.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. You think Bill Belichick would let him do that? Absolutely not. Bill Belichick is, there's, you got the Bill Belichicks, you got the Greg Popoviches of the world. Those type of guys, if it's in season, there's only one focus and one focus only, and that is the team and winning. That is it. You don't do anything else. So, could we see I don't feel Mojo Rawley could use this to propel himself to a main event, but could you see him maybe using this to, let's say at SummerSlam, maybe it's Mojo Rawley taking on another celebrity or an NFL football player with the managerial skills of Rob Gronkowski, or maybe a tag team where it's Mojo and Rob versus, similar to what we saw kind of like with the hair versus hair match, kind of like we seen with Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow, where, and with WCW, we saw it all the time with Karl Malone and taking on Dennis Rodman with wrestlers. What other celebrities or athletes would you want to see, getting in the ring? You would have Mojo and Gronk versus, obviously we can throw a random wrestler in there. Who would you want to see? Would you prefer an actor, actress?
Maybe another NFL guy, maybe like a J.J. Watt.
That would be cool. I didn't
a J.J. Watt, and I'm trying to see, who else he could really team up with that maybe kind of his style. Not anybody like Brock Lesnar or anything like that. Maybe like a Mojo Rawley size.
Yeah,
or a Mojo Rawley size in comparison of how popular he is.
Yeah, so J.J. Watt. That's a great name. They're both. J.J. Watt and Gronk. That is perfect because they both are. They're both big guys. So you can buy into that. It's not like you're not going to have Gronk and Mojo versus let's say myself as a Cowboys fan, you're not going to put him with Cole Beasley, he's my size. He's 5'8", $180 on a good day. You're like, okay, that's not realistic. So you got to put somebody in there like J.J. Watt and Gronk are, they're both big animals. They're large human beings. I can see J.J. Watt. That's definitely, he's got the, he's got the charisma for it. So I do think, I'd pay for that. I think the tough part is you got to work it around. There's a lot of avenues you got to work around to make it work.
Yeah, no,
the number you have dialed.
I could see, that happening. That's how I would like to see this. That's what I'd like to see with Rob Gronkowski. I'd like to see, maybe him in a tag team match or something like that with maybe another NFL superstar. That's probably the best way to go with that, I guess. But I think they should do something. You got Rob Gronkowski, he's very popular, and like you say, they're now doing music videos together. I just feel that they should be doing something. And Rob Gronkowski, the best part about him is he's obviously doesn't care about the NFL in the sense of when he's not in the NFL, he has no problem with kind of expanding himself into other avenues as he has. He
likes to go hard. Hey, what's wrong with that? But here's the thing: when the season's on, when football's back, he's the party, and he probably still parties, but I don't think he parties as hard. The guy puts his focus right to the NFL, and he does a great job. And you have to work it in a weird way because during the NFL season, there's no way Belichick is going to let him do that. That's just the way I look at it. There's just no way. I don't see it happening.
Well, when we return, we're going to try to find ourselves some tweets of the week and wrap up this week's edition of the Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio, Rat Pack Radio, and now on iTunes.
The New York Jets are rising and are ready to compete in the AFC. Boyd Green and Ty Butler will give you everything you need to know about the Jets every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. From reviewing the previous game and looking ahead to the next matchup, to all of the news and its 4 downs, the Jet Zone has everything. Follow at BoydGreen25 and at Ty D. Butler on Twitter. Proud member of Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
This program is simulcast on WRPR Rat Pack Radio. Go to ratpacksports.com for more information.
Do you want to stay up to date on the latest sports news? Come check out After the Whistle from 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday night. We talk about the NHL, we talk about the NFL, we talk about the MLB. You name it, we got it. Tune in on Sports War Radio.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Now is the time to get your voice heard. Sports War Radio is now accepting applications for driven and knowledgeable sports fans who want to start their very own podcast about their favorite team. Sports War Radio has an international audience and is growing fast. Don't miss the chance to become the go-to news source for your favorite team. Email sportswarradio@gmail.com and tell us why you would be a great addition to our team. Sports War Radio. Let the battle begin.
Let's get back to the action. This is the Heel to the Face podcast on Sports War Radio.
Back on the Heel to the Face podcast, the final segment of this week's edition is the tweet of the week. Now, I do want to say that I didn't get time for it this week, and I was thinking about it last week, but we will get time for it. Another Just Jarod rant is coming. Now, it's something that is not exactly time sensitive, so we didn't really get time for it this week, but hopefully maybe next week a great rant is coming from the mouth of Jarod Wick.
Teaser. Teaser alert.
In the world of professional wrestling. But we're going to get to this week's tweet of the week. Paul, do you have a tweet of the week for us?
I sure do, guys. With Backlash, an underrated part of what happened during that Randy Orton-Jinder Mahal match was when Randy Orton went bananas and started throwing around the Bollywood boys like ragdolls. So I got to give a shout-out to Nick Pacone on Twitter. I already tweeted it out. It's on the Heel to the Face Twitter for Boy Green's Tweet of the Week. He had a gif of Randy Orton chucking one of the Bollywood boys onto the table, and then it had Randy Orton's face like, ugh, maybe I threw him a bit too hard on that one. And
I love it.
Said, yeah, when you kind of know you were a bit careless, then you remember you have to sell your shoulder. # WWE Backlash. That was phenomenal. A great part of the match that not a lot of people were talking about.
I thought it was great. I was watching that too, and I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, Randy Orton's face is like, oh, maybe he wasn't trying to throw him so hard there.
Yeah, whoops. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Whoops, my bad. I forgot he wasn't that big. What do you think, Jared?
Brandon, it is your turn to go with this week's tweet of the week.
Well, mine's not. I'm not that funny this week. I just thought it was an interesting tweet. I mean, we've talked about this on previous shows. It goes out to, I hope I don't botch this, but it's a Toonami Nation, and it's at Toonami Faith 15. The tweet says, "You know what's funny?